Ernesto Che Guevara, Latin American revolutionary, Comandante of the Cuban Revolution of 1959 and Cuban statesman. To achieve a lot, you have to lose everything. Silence is the continuation of an argument by other means. It's sad not to have friends, but it's even sadder not to have enemies. It's better to die standing than to live on your knees. One should always think of the masses, not the individuals. It is criminal to think about individuals because the interests of the individual mean nothing in the face of the human community. Living in the real world, strive for the incredible. I will always dream, and I will not stop until the bullet stops. If I lose, it won't mean I couldn't have one. Many were defeated while trying to reach the top of Mount Everest, and eventually Everest was defeated. If you can find paths without any obstacles, it probably doesn't lead anywhere. If you begin to tremble of indignation at every injustice, then you are my comrade. You need to be able to become rougher, while maintaining your tenderness. We can't be sure we have something to live for until we're willing to give our lives for it. Those who die leave behind their blessings and take their sins with them. Be realistic, demand the impossible. At the risk of sounding ridiculous, I would like to say that a true revolutionary is driven by great love. It is impossible to imagine a real revolutionary without this feeling. Whichever way humanity goes, it cannot be reduced to purity, vulgarity, and trinkets of comfort, and one can sacrifice one's life for the protection of human dignity. I'm not a liberator. Liberators do not exist. People free themselves. The fate of the avant-garde revolutionary is sublime and sad. It doesn't matter if I fall, as long as someone else picks up my gun and keeps shooting. After the revolution, it is not the revolutionaries who do the work. It is done by technocrats and bureaucrats. And they are counter-revolutionaries. A true revolutionary is driven by great love. It is impossible to imagine a real revolutionary without this feeling. Only new leaders, even more violent, can replace violent leaders. Do not arrange red tape with litigation. This is a revolution, the evidence is secondary. We must act by persuasion. They are all a gang of criminals and murderers. I came to communism thanks to Uncle Stalin, and no one can tell me that I, you see, should not read it. I read it when reading it was considered very bad. It was a different time. And because I'm a flamboyant and die-hard person, I keep reading it. Especially now, in the new period, when reading it is considered even more bad. And then, and now, I read and find a bunch of things that are very good. May the world change you, and then you can change the world. The future belongs to the people, whether gradually or in one fell swoop, but they will win power here and around the world. The life of an individual is worth 1,000,000 times more than all the property of the richest person on earth. The states of the socialist camp are obliged to condemn the capitalist exploiting countries, and not to support them by silence. There is no certainty that our life has a purpose until we realize that we are finally ready to go all the way to the end for it. Many will call me an adventurer, and that I'm just one of those who risks my life to prove its banality. We socialists are freer because we are richer and richer because we are freer. We consciously sacrifice something. It is the price of the freedom for which we are fighting. For me, the sea has always been a creature to trust, a friend who readily listens to any story, never giving away the secrets entrusted to it, a comrade who gives the best of advice. The noise and splash of the waves everyone interprets as best he can. Bad news usually overtakes a person casually, like a lightning strike. Wherever wire can replace a screw, I prefer wire, it is more reliable. The future belongs to the people, whether gradually or in one fell swoop, but they will gain power here and around the world. It is bad that he should join civilization, and this can be done only by seizing power. He civilizes only at the cost of his own mistakes, which will be very serious and will cost a lot of innocent. Today, people think this: my daughter turns 15, let's give her a breast implant. It's horrible, what obscenity. These are consumer idols imposed by the West. Among them, the Barbie doll stands out. It is with her that the path of young citizens under the knife of a plastic surgeon begins. If there is no faith in the people, if there is no faith in the great reserve of energy hidden in them and in their will to fight, then there can be no right to control the fate of this people and try to force them to turn away from the path on which they entered in the most heroic days of Republican life, which are the threshold of its bright future. Let politicians not try to realize their frivolous ambitious dreams and secret plans at the expense of the revolution. Let them not try to share the skin of an unkilled bear, because in Cuba people are now giving their lives for something better. Let politicians become revolutionaries if they want to, but let them not disfigure the revolution, because a lot of blood has been spilled in these days and the sacrifices made by our people are too great for their hopes for a better future not to come true.